Hello and welcome to Thank God It's Friday. I'm Elaine.
And I'm Jenny.
So here we are on our final week of TGIF before Christmas, and tonight we are being joyful. Now, I know we're in a pandemic and not sure who we're allowed to see at Christmas, but if you're not feeling very joyful at the moment, we hope our show tonight will give you a smile. because we have a really special show lined up for you this time with some terrible Christmas jokes and some good ones too. So thanks to all our wonderful viewers who've sent in those jokes. And here's one for you, sent in by Gina. What's the difference between the ordinary alphabet and the Christmas alphabet? The Christmas alphabet has no L. See what I mean? Just a reminder that we're COVID secure. Jenny and I have a big Perspex screen between us and the rest of the team are socially distanced.
And in a moment, we'll be hearing from the wonderful Voice of Wallasey. Then coming up, we have our resident historian Pete and yet another exciting episode of TGIF Tales, the ever popular pet of the week as well. And we have an extremely talented singer to finish our show with a festive tune. As ever, we're focusing on the positive things in life and celebrating the wonderful town of Wallasey and its people. Our behind the scenes team are here as well tonight, and in the true spirit of Christmas, you're going to get to see and interact with all of us this week.
As ever, you, our wonderful viewers, are vital to the show. We couldn't do the show without you. We need your input. So please share your comments or questions on YouTube while we're broadcasting. We'd love to know what you think. And if you have any more jokes for us, please let us know. Now this week, I've been given some power. I have control of the comments that get sent into the stream like this. So don't be shy and get your comments in and jokes and questions. So let's get going with the Voice of Wallasey. Now for the Voice of Wallasey today, we have our very own producer and Wallacean, Alex. Hello, Alex. Love the jumper.
Here I am.
So Alex, our question for this week is, what gives you joy?
Well, I suppose thinking about this year in particular, the things that have given me joy is how community and spirited people of Wallasey have come together during this pandemic. So we've had people on the show like Love Liscard, the Community Connectors, Charlie Farley and sidekick Piggy Malone. That's unbelievable, isn't it? That name, that's cool. People like Hope for New Brighton, so that gives me joy. The other thing that gives me joy is this. I love doing this, and the idea of being able to bring something to community, I think is really important. It's kind of new technology, new platform, and I'm hoping that people really embrace it. But personally, what gives me joy is about to go to my barber in Liscard, put my head back, have my hair done, be pampered, have my beard all done, and that's nice. That's what brings me joy.
He looks
Sounds
very,
good to
very
me.
well groomed.
Yeah, and he's done a good job too. Thanks, Alex, for that. That's great.
Marvellous. So we've got another joke that was sent in by Vicky. Why do mummies like Christmas so much? They're into all the wrapping.
And here's another sent in by Jan. Why are Christmas trees bad at sewing? They always drop their needles. I think they're getting worse, aren't they, Jen? Now, at this point in the show, we usually have a special guest for you. But tonight, we thought we'd do something a bit different. So we're going to talk to you about the story behind TGIF. You might have heard us talking about Wallasey Unleashed, and that is something that was set up to celebrate and serve Wallasey and its fantastic people. So here to talk with me and Jen about it is our fabulous producer Alex and our resident historian Pete.
Oh.
Hello.
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 So our first question is, how did TGIF come about? Now, I think actually I'll answer that one. It was really born out of the pandemic, and when we first locked down, we could see the community pulling together And that's what happened in the first lockdown. And so we started this show, which was a bit about celebrating the good things going on, like Captain Tom going up and down his garden, and little clips, you know, little Facebook clips and funny things that were going on. And we always had a guest in. And it sort of developed from that, and to have more people on board. And it's really always been about celebrating community and shining a little bit of light in this really dark time, because it's always upbeat and it's always positive. And it's all about celebrating our community. So that's how it came about. And our second question is, how does that, which I think Pete can answer for us, how does that link with Wallasey Unleashed?
Well, I think you need to look at it like this. Let me give you an illustration. If TGIF, this great show that we're on now, is, I suppose, a cross between Wogan and Parkinson, so it's the show, then Wallasey Unleashed is like the station, so it's like BBC or ITV or Channel 4, you know, that's the sort of difference. So there's going to be more than one show. There's only TGIF at the moment, and it's going well so far, but there'll be other shows as well. So that's the difference. One's a channel or station, like the YouTube channel, the Facebook page. TGIF is the show, like That's Life, something like that.
Yeah, it was a little bit like that, isn't it? I always think it's a bit like That's Life, the magazine show. So no, thanks for that, Pete. That explains it all for us. Yeah. So next question, I wonder how Alex could maybe answer. What does the future hold then for Wallasey Unleashed, do you think?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer really, because it depends how successful we are. So, as Pete's mentioned, we aim to create new content. We definitely need new content, not just Friday evening content, and we need to expand the team. We're looking at the team here. We have a sound engineer who's kind of part-time, but the majority of the team that is working on this project is the people you see on screen now. So we need to actually develop that team and get a bigger number of people that can get behind what it is we're trying to do. We need better publicity, so we need to teach you lot how to share all the stuff that we do and get all your friends and family involved in watching. And the final thing is funding. So what we don't want to do is completely rely on charitable donations, subscriptions and donations. So we want to make Wallasey Unleashed, which actually exists as a community interest company, competitive and can work on a commercial basis. So the idea is that our direction of being supportive of our community in Wallasey, helping to give organisations like the ones we've mentioned, who are very much reliant on funding, a voice, and giving Wallasey people themselves a voice. We need to get funding from somewhere else, which I think is the best way to do that is commercially. If we just rely on funding from funding organisations or charities, we're going to really struggle. So that's part of it as well. That's basically a bit, in a nutshell, where we're going to try and go in 2021.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, and it's really important is just getting ourselves known. As you say, people, you know, we want people to like and share and spread the word about us, don't we?
Yeah,
that's really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Jen, how can our community help us then?
Well, really, if you know anyone who may want to be on the show, let us know. Because without your help, we can't keep producing top content that competes with the big boys. And to give money to the show, you could either send a carrier pigeon or wait for our new online giving method in the new year. And even £10 a month could make a huge difference. Of course, you might not be able to give or maybe not want to, but you can still really help. And as the others have said, keep engaging with us. Share our videos and content with friends and family.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. So I hope that's given everyone a bit of an idea anyway what TGIF's about and what's behind it in Wallasey Unleashed. Okay, so on, I think, with jokes.
Yeah, so another one of our excellent jokes sent in by David. a boy had been asked to read part of the Nativity story from the Bible at the church carol service. And he came to the part where the heavily pregnant Mary had to travel to Bethlehem. So suddenly he looked puzzled and unimpressed. And he said, "Mum, there's a mistake here. It says Mary was great with child. Surely it means great with children?"
I think they're getting worse, aren't they?
Do you know what? Do you know? I cancelled a comic for this week for this.
Well, yeah, who needs a comic with fantastic jokes and delivery as we've got tonight, you know? See, I've got another great one here from Gina. What do elves learn at school? The alphabet.
Oh dear, I think we should have got the comic. But anyway, here's our great comic Pete. So let's see what Pete has in store for us this week.
Let me take you back to 1973. It's a cold winter's night here in Wallasey now in 2020. Back in 1973, it was a pretty bad winter. In fact, that was the last time we had a big epidemic of the scale that we've had this year with COVID-19. That time it was flu. That's my reason for going back to 1973, but you may remember, if you were listening to last week's episode, that I reported on the visit of the dolphins to Guinea Gap swimming baths that year. If you want to hear more, go back to last week's episode. Other things that happened that year? Well, that year there were a lot of strikes, and in one of the newsagents in Wallasey, the schoolboys and schoolgirls who did the paper rounds went on strike, and there's a picture of them which went out in the local paper showing the man who owned the newspaper shop delivering his own papers. The schoolboys and schoolgirls who had delivered the papers were summarily sacked. It looked like that particular strike didn't work out too well. There were other things happening in 1973. A strange incident of the man who got into a fight over fish and chips. One of the fish and chip shops in Wallasey, a man got into a fight, and he reported that in fact the reason for the fight was that his wife was pregnant, and so it was a fish and chip emergency. Some details now of another theft that year. A Poulton seaman was arrested for going on a chicken stealing spree. When he was very drunk, he went out and stole some chickens. It was a 62-year-old seaman named George Edward Williams. He stole chickens from the Marks and Spencers in Liskeard worth £3.75. In the sentencing of this man, the magistrate noted that he should in future steer clear of going drinking with his seagoing buddies. Back in 1973, there were dangerous times, you know. There were more accidents in the home, there were more road accidents, there were more deaths from heart attack, and there was also an epidemic. Not quite as bad as this year, but pretty bad. It was a dangerous year. But also in 1973, right towards the end of the year, I'm proud to announce that there was the release of that perennial hit, Merry Christmas Everybody, by Slade. Well, I would play you a little bit of the song Merry Christmas Everybody by Slade now, but unfortunately Noddy Holder and Jim Lee take £500,000 a year in royalties from the song, and I don't want to be adding to that, so here's some other Christmassy music instead.
Well, what an eventful year.
It was, wasn't it? I must say I was very impressed with the schoolboys going on strike.
Oh, going on strike. Yeah, they didn't get them very far, did it?
No.
A bit of militancy there, but I think
Taking
they
a
didn't
stand,
have the upper hand
yeah.
in that. And the stolen chickens. And I still remember that Slade track as well, although I think it's still played
But
sometimes.
vaguely remember that one.
Brings back memories. So, yeah. Okay, so and now it is time for the next thrilling instalment of TGIF Tales.
So last week, if you remember, I came up with by far the most interesting fact about Guinea Gap swimming baths. Let's take a look.
Swimming baths at Wallasey in Cheshire play host to a different kind of swimmer. Not as subhuman as you might think, these highly intelligent and talented entertainers left dry land a few million years ago because they had the brains to realize they could make a better living in the water. Scientists are convinced they could tell us things that might surprise us if only we'd developed the sense to take some notice. Though they have more than 100 teeth, they never require a dentist. And through a modification of their skin, they can race through the water at up to 35 miles an hour, a trick that's baffled man for years. And they fly through the air with an ease that makes the man on the flying trapeze look like a novice. In fact, like they say, anything you can do, they can do standing on their tail.
So let's see what is happening this week.
Okay, for TGIF Tales this week, I was going to do that poem, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and do it in a lockdown appropriate manner, change a couple of the words. I've got some notes on it that I can tell people. The poem was written by Clement Clark Moore, I've got here on the screen. It was first released under the title A Visit from St. Nicholas. In 1822, it was released in the local paper called The Sentinel, and although it was initially anonymous, it became so popular that eventually he revealed that he had written it, and it began to be read by people every year as a sort of tradition on Christmas Eve. Let me just try it with a pandemic-friendly version of it. Let's go. This is the first verse. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The face masks were hung by the chimney with string, in hopes that St. Nick would be self-isolating. Doesn't really work, does it? Why don't I just read out the original? I mean, I don't feel very Christmassy, but let's give it a go. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter, and away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutter, and flung up the sash, and the moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the lustre of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all, as dry leaves before a wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of the pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself, and a wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and he filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying a finger aside of his nose, with a nod of his head, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
That's a wonderful poem, isn't it?
Lovely.
Years since I've heard that. It's
I haven't
beautiful
heard that for
poetry,
years
isn't
and
it?
years.
Just
I did particularly like there was a cat sitting
Ah,
beside
yes,
the
there
fire.
was a
You know
cat in
my
it,
love
yeah.
of cats.
I
Yes.
just think how these things age, though, because Father Christmas had a pipe and he was smoking. You think wouldn't really be able to do that nowadays.
No.
But it's a
Might be able
beautiful-
to vape, but
No, beautiful poem.
very, very funny. But we've got another funny for you. We've got another great joke sent in by Gina. What do you get when you cross Santa with a duck? A Christmas quacker.
Well, I can beat that. This one was sent in by Jan. What do you call a reindeer with bad manners? A rude Ulf. Has to be a good one. Well, it's that time again. It's the moment that you've all been waiting for, Pet of the Week.
Well, tonight, since we've got such a Christmassy theme, I thought that the viewers might be interested in some interesting facts about polar bears. And they're really, really beautiful animals, although I'm sure you know they're one of the most endangered species on the planet, sadly. They are affected by climate change, and their habitat in the Arctic is literally melting away. So we need to protect them so that the Arctic food chain stays healthy for the benefit of wildlife and all the people in and beyond the Arctic. The Arctic provides fish for millions of people, including here in the UK. And if polar bears are lost, the whole ecosystem will be destroyed. And that's just a little photo showing you a polar bear, and he's kind of stranded on the ice there and not able to get across to the ice. It's melting away, so that's a bit sad. Anyway, moving on, some more anatomic facts about the polar bears. Did you know that they've got especially large feet, especially adapted to swimming? And they can swim constantly for days at a time to get from one piece of ice to the other. So they paddle with their front feet and they use their hind legs like a rudder, as you can see in this photo. Now, another question with our next photo. What colour do you think polar bears actually are? Did you know that they're actually black? And their hairs are actually transparent, and they only appear white because they reflect visible light. And beneath all that thick fur, their skin is jet black. And we've got a lovely picture here of a polar bear's feet. So can you see? Lovely black pads. And finally, with our last picture, Do you know, looking at this great fellow, that polar bears are actually the largest species of bear, and male bears can weigh up to 800 kilos. So that's just a little bit heavier than Alex, our producer. And they can measure 3 metres in length.
What was that?
Alex woken up now. I just said this big guy here is only a little bit heavier than you, Alex. So, yeah, Alex isn't the biggest land carnivore in the world. It is actually the polar bear. So, a few Christmassy facts for you. And we're now going to move on to the Pet of the Week submissions. Last week there was a little bit of a problem with the sound. So I think you probably...
Bane of my life. Audio.
So you may not have caught the winners last week, or the winners and the runner-up. So I just wanted to do a little recap for you. So there we go. Those were the two cats. It was a grandma and a granddaughter that were runners-up, Gizmo and Ronnie.
Oh, lovely.
And then we had a lovely finalist, Tiggy Pumpkin.
Oh,
there she is,
sweet.
helping her owners with the laundry.
Oh.
So, moving on now to the pets you all submitted this week, and we had loads of them, absolutely loads. So this is Spinner, and we're not quite sure whether Spinner has got a toothbrush in his mouth, or if he's just got a bit of a treat.
It could be a treat, couldn't it? Yeah. Oh,
it could be.
Sweet.
Could be.
I love his tail. Her tail. Very fluffy.
And look at this one. This is Ollie. Now, Ollie lives in Yorkshire.
Oh.
And here he is lusting after a Yorkshire pudding wrap.
That's intense staring, that, isn't it, really?
Yes.
Something he's really interested in. A lovely face.
First horse we've had on the show. Well, actually, it's a pony. So this is Star.
Oh. It's beautiful.
Lovely colours. And then we've got a couple of cats submitted from the same household. So this is Lacey. I hope I've got this right. They've got very, very similar names. One cat is Lacey, and the other cat is Lucy.
Oh.
They're quite similar, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Very must be confusing.
I got them right. Thanks, Alex.
But yeah, lovely markings.
Oh, and look at this old lady. This is
sweetie.
Hetty, curled up in her blanket.
Yeah. Very cute. Very cosy.
I thought this was a very, very nice picture. I thought at first it was a two-headed dog.
Yeah, I was trying to work out these legs. I could see 5 legs and 2 bits in the background. So yes.
So these are Gordon setters called Wallace and Webster, and they're brothers.
I was going to say they're brothers, is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, they look
dressed up for
lovely.
Christmas. I think this cat is beautiful. He looks so relaxed. He's called Doug, but his nickname is actually Doug the Thug.
Doug the Thug. He doesn't look like a thug.
I know. I thought that was not very nice, calling Doug the Thug.
He looks very cuddly.
He's obviously, a gentle giant, isn't he?
All cats are thugs.
No, they're not.
No. Oh.
And this is Max.
Another cutie.
Max the Westie. Curled up in his rug.
Oh.
Very cute.
Looks very cosy in there.
So hard, isn't it? I could give a praise to every single one of them.
Aren't they? Ooh.
This is another pet, also from Yorkshire. All these dogs from Yorkshire seem to be interested in food, don't they?
Yes.
This is Rory. So apparently he's saying to himself, "Where's the cheese, Grommet?"
Oh, he looks very fluffy, doesn't he?
Cheese sandwich. And look at this lovely little lady.
Little Christmas doggy. The hat suits her.
Forgotten her name though. I think it's Sarah.
Oh,
But she's a cute, cute little doggy, isn't she?
yeah, she's
Little
very
poodle, I
cute.
think.
She definitely suits her little outfit as well.
And that's
Aw.
Teddy. Teddy's been sent in to us from some viewers in Northern Ireland.
Oh, right. Okay, great. She's got a
Irish
beautiful
doggy.
white coat. She looks quite sad, doesn't she? But I'm sure she's not. Some dogs just have that look, don't they?
Probably didn't like getting that. Was it a Christmas tie?
Yeah, yes, it looks like a Christmas tie. Another festive doggy.
It's a male. But you're right, Teddy. Teddy could be girl or boy.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I have to look hard for these ones. So we've
Camouflaged.
got Cockapoo and Bentley the Siamese.
all right.
You
I
can
had
just
to
see
think
Ted
to
the
see the
Cockapoo
cats.
just,
Yeah,
under the
I
blanket
see.
there.
I see the little fluffy dog face, and the cat sort of got its back to us, hasn't it?
So this was taken in the evening, and the owner said they were just very tired
Yeah.
after a long day at work.
Oh,
And that's Patch.
another chilled out dog.
He's apparently just finished his dinner. So he's just stretching out on his leather chair.
Yeah, a life of luxury, eh? He looks very, very content.
And this is Todd. Todd beside the waterfall.
Oh. Oh, we've just had, I have to stop you there a moment, Jen. We've had a comment in from Trevor to say that all that's in Spinner's mouth is a dentist stick.
Oh, it's a
So
dental
it was a
stick.
treat.
Oh.
I thought it looked a little bit like that.
Okay.
Thanks for that, Trevor.
Right. Good. Having his teeth looked after. Excellent. And then this is our last pet of the week. This is Brewster.
Oh,
And he's come all the way from Romania. So
Oh,
his
really? Wow.
isn't it good? He's got a nice home now and he's well cared for.
Yeah, he looks very alert, doesn't he? A good look there. Oh.
So really, really difficult decision. As I've said, I could give a present to or a prize to every single one of them. So remember, the finalist and the runner-up from all the week's shows are going to go through to the grand final, and we'll make our announcement on Christmas Day. But anyway, for this week, because we had such a fantastic compilation of animals, we've decided to give 2 runner-up prizes and 1 winner. So I think we're going to put up the runners-up first. Where's Alex? So the first runner-up was Doug the Thug.
Oh, I just love that.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
didn't think it was, fair calling him the Thug.
Oh,
Very, very sweet cat.
yeah.
Just to point out, Jenny hasn't actually told me who the winners are, so how I can put them up, I don't know.
I'm
you're
trying to
very
remember
clever.
who the second runner-up was. The second runner-up was Brewer. That was our last little doggy.
Oh,
who
yes, the
arrived from
Romanian dog.
Romania.
Yeah. Oh,
Ah, isn't he lovely?
he's very, very sweet.
And then the finalist, I think it's got to go to Ollie, the dog who was eyeing up the Yorkshire pudding.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
There he is. He looks a bit like a Yorkshire pudding, doesn't he?
A beautiful dog.
You look like a Yorkshire pudding.
What's he like?
Alex is very, very polite to everybody.
He is, yeah. Well, I think it's a fantastic array of pets.
Absolutely.
It's lovely to see all the photos, isn't it? Great. Oh, so now, after looking at all those pets, we catch up with ourselves and realise where we are. Yeah, so we've been thinking about a lot of things this week, haven't we? But, of course, we started off saying we're thinking about joy this week, and we are thinking about joy. Alex has been talking about joy. You've had all these wonderful jokes. And I think joy is a funny thing, isn't it? Real joy, in my book, it's like...
Elaine, look to camera.
In my book, it's a bit about... It's like peace, and that it's something you can have...
Elaine, look to the middle camera.
It's something you can have inside, even when things are going bad outside, if you like. If things around you, you can still sort of have sort of a sense of joy. And, we've got Christmas coming up, and there's loads of talk about presents and jokes and seeing family, and those are all great things, aren't they? But of course, it's really about Jesus' birthday, isn't it? And that's what gives me joy. Mm-hmm. What about you, Jen?
I think I've had a lot of joy out of looking at the way the community has pulled together in this time of COVID. People have really looked out for each other, for people on their own. People have just gone the extra mile, haven't they? Checking up on others. So it's just really good to be a part of that and trying to improve that great community spirit in Wallasey, which is what we're all about as well.
Yeah, we're still seeing that now. It's great, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So we're coming to the end of the show, but we're going to be taking a break now over Christmas. But watch out for the date of our return. We will be back at the end of January, and now we have a very talented singer to sing us out, the incredible Jenny McKay. But before we go, Merry Christmas, everyone. Look forward to seeing you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Do you know what? I can't wait for this bit.
That'd be good.
Me too.
For a surprise.
Sing along at home.
Yes,
absolutely.
Sing along. Yes.
Yeah, cover me up.
I'll give you a clue as to what it is.
It's not that.
Isn't it?
Oh.
Is that your favourite carol,
No,
Alex?
sorry, ignore the noise. It's just a flashing nose.
Yes.
I'm just going to mute Elaine's microphone. Oh, dear.
You don't think I can do this, can you?
There you go, I've muted that. Right, you ready for this, Jen?
I'm ready.
Yes. Ready for X Factor.
Here we go. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games.
She's got quite a good voice, hasn't she?
Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. He had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
Bravo! Encore! No, not encore, sorry.
Again. Right. Now let's get Elaine to do it.
Oh no!
And
Hang on.
right. Okay.
The viewers all are gone by now.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. No, that'd be
They need to give scores,
Jen,
don't they?
You were great. You're right.
3,
So,
4,
just
10.
to settle up. So,
Yeah?
we're going to put something out on Christmas Day to give you the actual winner, grand winner for the pet prize.
Yeah.
We're looking to come back 3rd week in January. Look out for social media stuff and share.
Yes.
Have a great Christmas
And share
New
will be
Year.
Yes,
shared next time.
absolutely.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.
Wave.